National Signing Day was a couple days ago, the 19th. This is being filmed the 21st, correct? Correct. There weren't too many surprises. I thought there were some that shocked me a lot. And I don't keep up recruiting that much, so I don't really know a lot about recruiting, but I know some. Here are the top 25 classes according to 247 Sports. Number 1 was Alabama, and this is Nick Saban's 8th recruiting class in the last 9 years. No wonder Alabama wins every year. 2 is Georgia. They've done a phenomenal job recruiting. Kirby Smart is an expert, not as good as Saban though. And he's really turned that program around. And if it wasn't for Alabama, they'd have a national championship or 2 right now. If it wasn't for Alabama. But they had a handful of good recruits, and you'll see in a minute, they had the number 1 recruit in the nation. Number 3 recruiting class. I told people this since they did it, and people aren't going to want to listen to me. Jimbo Fisher was a good hire for Texas A&M. That's Texas A&M. 3rd most recruiting class in the nation. 3rd best. And, Jimbo Fisher's really turned this program around. You see last season, they come within 2 points of Clemson. And if it wasn't for some arguable calls, I was interrupted. Back to what I was saying. They should have won. They might have beat Clemson if it weren't for some calls that didn't go their way. They came within 22 points of Alabama, which is just about better than every team except Georgia. So they were pretty good. And I don't know. And this is me as an Alabama fan saying this. Texas A&M next season will be our hardest game. It will be harder, probably because of we're going to Texas A&M. It's probably going to be harder than Georgia. It's going to be hard, is what I'm saying. It's going to be a tough game. And I could see a thing where they almost beat us. I can't see where they beat us, but I can see where they almost beat us. But he's really turned that program around, and they got some pretty good guys in that group. Number 4, and I've seen where they're number 6. I don't know. This is just according to 247 Sports. 247 Sports. This list. That's my notes. Anyways, LSU finishes at number 4. Again, they got a lot of defensive talent. No offensive talent. Just the way LSU likes it. I think they got like the number 1. Oh, no. Yeah, it was the number 1 defensive back in the nation. And I believe he was number 3 overall in the nation. I don't know. That's coming up next. But again, a good recruiting class. Number 5 was Oregon, and this shocked me a lot. Even though they are a prestigious program and a very good program, sometimes, I didn't expect them to recruit this well. I believe they stole a recruit from Alabama who was very highly ranked. And that just shows you, they got good recruiters over there. And which is surprising because I believe, if I'm not wrong, I believe they just fired Willie Taggart. I believe that's who Oregon's former coach was. And I believe they have Mario Cristobal now. Number 6, Oklahoma. You know, they're going to have a high recruiting class. Lincoln Riley can come up to basically any offensive player and say, look what I've done the 2 seasons I've been here. Playoff at the 3 seed and playoff at the 4 seed. Transfer quarterback, Heisman winner. Transfer quarterback, Heisman winner. Also had a receiver come as a finalist for the Heisman. That is 3 Heisman finalists in 2 years. So, and I am one of the best offensive minds in college football. I don't see how you turn that down unless you are like just really in love with a certain program. So you know they're going to have a good recruiting class. Next up at 7 is Clemson. You know they're going to be up there. Number 2, Alabama is probably going to have to play them for the national championship this year. Part 4. And they got a lot of good talent. We'll see how their defensive line does. Because Wilkins and Farrell, I do believe his name is, and a bunch of others are leaving. So we'll see how well they can bounce back. Michigan at number 8. They had some pretty good recruits. As always, they need a good recruiting class because Ohio State, they just lost Urban Meyer. They need to get a lot of young guys in for depth for these past few years. They can break that winning streak over them, and finally the team up north will win the game. Number 9 is Texas. You know they're going to be up there. They're always in the top 10 in recruiting, it seems like, but they're never in the actual top 10. Which, maybe that's coach, maybe it's the players just not being as good as they thought they were, but again, Texas in there. A prestigious program, you know they're going to be in there. Number 10, Penn State. They recruited well, as always. And they had a pretty good group of guys. I'm going to speed through the rest of these because this video is going to take too long if I just analyze every team. Number 11 is that ugly blue and orange school that we don't talk about. They signed the number 2 quarterback in the nation, and he was like top 10 overall, Bo Nix. He's probably going to start as a freshman. Number 12, Ohio State lost Urban Meyer. They really do need a good recruit class. Number 13, Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, showing what he can do in recruiting. Coach of the Year. 14, Florida State, prestigious program. They missed a bowl this season. If Willie Taggart doesn't win 8 games this next season, I'm firing him if I'm Florida State. I'm not even giving him a third chance. He's done. Because Florida State, as prestigious as they are, and what they did before Willie Taggart with Jimbo Fisher, that's disgraceful. Number 15, Washington, showing what they can do. If it went for a few plays this season, they might have been in the playoffs. It's really shocking to think about. 16, Tennessee. Tennessee really needs some good guys. They have a coach from Alabama, so you know they're going to be recruiting well now. Got some really good guys, too. 17, Florida. Dan Mullen showing what he can do. You've seen that picture with the 2 recruits. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but it's a hilarious picture of Dan Mullen's recruits. Jokes aside, he had an awesome recruiting class, and that defense is going to be scary next season. I don't care if you're Oklahoma or Alabama. That defense is going to be scary. 18 is Stanford. Not too shocking. 19, Mississippi State, Joe Moorhead. This is his first kind of recruiting thing to show his chance as a coach. Can't get the right word out. But this is his first opportunity as a coach to show what he can do in recruiting. And he did pretty well, signing a top 20 class, number 19. Number 20, Arkansas. This is really important for them, and this shows how good Chad Morris is. You go 2-10, miss a bowl, you're terrible, and you keep tons of guys who were committed first, and you keep them committed. That is just awesome, and Arkansas needs to have good recruiting classes because they obviously aren't good right now, obviously. 21, USC. It's a good recruiting class, but not usually what we see from USC. They're usually top 10. USC needs to find something because they're turning it into Florida State, where they're a really good program, a legendary one at that, one of the top 10 best of all time, maybe even top 5 best. And they're complete just disgrace. Which it's not a bad recruiting class, but not USC standards. Number 22, South Carolina. Don't really got any comments on this one. It's not like they're beating Georgia or Florida. 23 is Ole Miss. Really good, signing a top 25 recruiting class, especially because they're on that bowl ban last year, and their coach really hasn't proved to have a really good season yet, and a lot of guys are leaving. Good showing by them. Number 24, Nebraska. Hey, it's Scott showing what he can do. New coach from UCF got there, and maybe not as good as Nebraska fans were hoping. Certainly not as good as I thought. I thought he'd have like a top 10 recruiting class. Is maybe shooting a little too high, but I thought he did. 25 is rounding out Purdue. And I don't really have any comments on the Purdue. Maybe with Ohio State gone, Jeff Brom, if they get a couple upsets, they could win the Big Ten. I'm just realizing what I said. That sounds crazy to say. Purdue might win the Big Ten. Okay, the top 25 recruitments. Number 1, the D lineman, Nolan Smith, signs with Georgia. Big recruitment for Georgia, especially because they failed to get a lot of pressure at times. The only really game where they got a lot of pressure was the Alabama game, and they weren't really a physical group until the LSU game. Number 2, D lineman Kayvon Thibodeaux. I butchered that name, and I am so sorry to anyone who knows his name. But I butchered that name. Kayvon Thibodeaux. D lineman. It come down to Oregon and Alabama. Signed with Oregon. Which I can see where he signed with Oregon. But you go to Oregon, if you're really good, you might start as a freshman. But hey, if you go to Alabama, even if you don't start till your senior year, hey, you might have a redshirt year you can use. So that's 2 years. Look what it's like every year. Alabama produces one of the a top 25 pick, the first round pick on the D line. I mean, you look this year, it's gonna be Quentin Williams. Last year it was Jonathan Allen. Last year it was Daron Payne. Year before it was Jonathan Allen, I do believe. Or maybe they were in the same. I'm not sure. Raekwon Davis is in there too. And, of course, McCoy. You've seen what he's done. I mean, not McCoy. What am I talking about? Marcel Darius. You've seen what he's done. A Pro Bowler. So I don't know. I would have chose Alabama, of course. But he went with Oregon. Okay, number 3. This is the person I was talking about. Derek Stingley, the number 3 recruitment in the nation. Number 1 defensive back. Signs with LSU. Like LSU can't get any better on defense. If Greedy Williams stays, Grant Delpit, I believe he has to stay. I don't think he has enough years to go out. And if some other guys stay and they get better on the D line, and they have this kid now, that's a scary class. I'm just gonna say that. Number 4, Lord, the D. It seems like these past 2 years, the D line has just been impeccable. Whether it's coming out of high school or coming out of college. This year, coming out of college, there are so many top 10 picks just on the D line. If you look at Ed Oliver from Houston, Quentin Williams from Alabama, Nick Bosa from Ohio State, and several other guys. Maybe even Raekwon Davis from Alabama. Christian Wilkins, Farrell, I think his name is, from Clemson. Another Clemson guy. The guy from Auburn. We don't speak of him, but he's a good player. And it's really just been a lot on the D-line this year. But anyways, number 4 is Zach Harrison, D-line. Signs with Ohio State. Ohio State needs this. They need to keep having good recruiting classes to give Ryan Day an easier time as a first starting head coach. That's going to make his job a lot easier. Because it's not easy filling in for one of the most legendariest that a word? That's not a word. That's not a word. Legendariest. Legend. No, I can't.
Legendary.
Most legendary coach. One of the most legendary coaches of all time. Finally got it. It's not going to be easy, but if you find a lot of high recruitment, it's going to make your job a little bit easier. Number 5. Welcome Trey Sanders to the University of Alabama, the number 1 running back in the nation, the number 5 recruit in the nation. Trey Sanders, it comes down to Alabama and Florida, or was it Alabama and Georgia? I think it was all 3, and he decided on going to Alabama. And I saw something on Twitter, I do believe. It said, I plan to win the Heisman as a freshman. Cut off again because the camera's not functioning right. But anyways, Trey Sanders, number 1 running back, signs with Alabama. Personally, if I was him, well, I guess if I was him and still an Alabama fan, of course I'd sign with Alabama. But I was just joking. What would work out best for my future? I would have went to Florida because Georgia has a lot of talent. You look at DeAndre Swift coming back, Holyfield's coming back. They always got tons of guys at running back. So does Alabama, even though Damon Harris is leaving and Josh Jacobs may be leaving. You still got Najee Harris, the number 1 running back from, last year, 2 years ago. You still got Brian Robinson, who is one of the most underrated running backs in the nation. And if he played for any other school, he would be a starter, except a couple, like Wisconsin or Georgia. But just about any other school, and he'd be a starter. So, I mean, he goes to Alabama. Hey, Nick Saban says, I'm not going to guarantee any playing time. I'm going to guarantee a chance to compete. And that's what he's going to have a chance to do. Jason Hazelwood, the number 1 wide receiver, number 6 overall. He hasn't made his decision, but he is favoring Oklahoma. Again, Lincoln Riley can sign just about any guy he wants with his recruiting pitch because it's pretty much invincible at this point that he's not. The number 1 athlete in the nation, Bru McCoy, he has still not made his decision. But he is favoring USC. A big sign for USC if they can get him. Dax Hill. This is interesting. This is one of the most surprising ones. The number 2 defensive back in the nation, number 8 overall. He was a commit to Michigan this whole time. And then, at the last moment, he flips to Alabama for like a week. And he's committed to Alabama. And it looks like Alabama's going to get a defensive guy that they desperately need. Because last year, every single one of our defensive backs left for the draft. And our our secondary has really been hinging on Deontay Thompson. One of the most underrated defensive backs in the nation. Anyways, he was committed to Alabama. And then on signing day, he signs with Michigan. Which is a big loss. Not that big of a loss for Alabama, but a huge sign for Michigan, seeing that Justin Fields might be at Ohio State next year. Okay, as I was saying, if Justin Fields goes to Ohio State next year, they're definitely going to need guys in that secondary to defend him. Because if they don't, it's not going to be good. And they still have Tate Martell from QB1, and that will be bad. Even though he is such a running threat, but can also pass the ball. So that's a big sign for Michigan. Number 9. I'm going to butcher this name. Ishmael Sopsher. Lord. Ishmael Sopsher. I didn't pronounce that correctly. But he has not signed yet, although he is favoring LSU. Like I said, this will be a huge sign for LSU because their secondary is already one of the best, if not the best in the nation. And if they get pressure, that will be a scary defense, like better than Florida's. And although he is considering Alabama, which it would be huge if he signed with Alabama because Roll Tide. But anyways, I don't see why you wouldn't sign with Alabama. Defensive lineman, I've already stated, Alabama is a defensive line NFL factory. But he is favoring LSU. Has not made a decision. Number 10. And our first offensive tackle. The number 1 offensive tackle in the nation. Darnell Wright. I believe, he has not made a decision yet. Although he is favoring Tennessee, this would be a huge sign for Jeremy Pruitt. And you got to protect Guarantino. I know I pronounced that one right. Guarantino, the quarterback. He, I believe he'll be a junior next year. You got to protect him. Big sign for Jeremy Pruitt if he signs him. Number 11, Kenyon Green. The number 2 offensive tackle. Number 11th in the nation. He signs with that very, very ugly blue-orange cheating school up there in Alabama's little brother. Yeah, and that's a huge sign, I guess. I mean, they're gonna have to protect whatever quarterback they decide to go with. Most likely the freshman Bo Nix, as he will pop up sometime in here. I don't know when. Probably, I think. But anyways, that's a huge sign for that school. It doesn't matter. They're going to lose to Alabama every year, though. Number 12, this is number 2 RB in the nation. Signs with LSU. Good sign for LSU. They already do have 2 talented running backs. Fournette's brother and Bryant. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But they are 2 very talented running backs, and they add another one to the list. What they really need is a quarterback. But they're never going to find a quarterback. It's like searching for the fountain of youth. LSU's never going to find a quarterback. He was number 12. Number 13 is an offensive tackle. The 3rd best offensive tackle, I do believe, in the nation. He signs with Tennessee. If they can get both of them offensive tackles, as I said, it will be huge protecting Guarantino. And Jeremy Pruitt will prove how good of a recruiter he is. Of course, he came from Alabama. Nick Saban's Walmart. Number 14 is a linebacker, Nakobe Dean from Georgia. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. But he signs with Georgia. Georgia seems like they're doing what Alabama does now. I mean, Kirby Smart worked with Alabama, and then he went to Georgia, and he hit copy-paste. Because they are exactly like Alabama. Run the ball, pass it if you have to. Well, Alabama now, we have Tua. But if they get someone, well, they had Justin Fields, who's just about as good as Tua, but the Dodo Brains didn't start him. But if they get a quarterback, they could turn it into Alabama's offense. But they're just like a linebacker factory now. And they get another one who'll probably be big down the line. Another linebacker, Owen. I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong. Papo. PayPal. I don't know. Number 15th in the nation, linebacker. Again, this is a really big recruiting class. This is probably the only good thing they done this year. I mean, you lose to Alabama 52-21. You're getting new recruiting classes, but guess what? Alabama has a better one. That school up there in the town that starts with an A and a U signs a good linebacker. Number 16, wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, signs with Ohio State. This is a really good signing for Ohio State if they get Justin Fields. It gives Justin Fields some new options in that system. Tate Martell, it gives him some options. Since he's a running QB, there's a wide receiver he can depend on a little bit more. That's a good sign. 17, Defensive tackle Logan Brown signs with Wisconsin. Maybe they can get Jonathan Taylor. Good blocking. I mean, Wisconsin's O-line is maybe one of the most underrated in the nation. If their defense could step it up and they found a good quarterback, Wisconsin would be a playoff tier team. But they just can't do it. But that is a great sign from Wisconsin. Number 18, D lineman. Again, talented guys. Zach Pickens signs with South Carolina. Good recruit for them. It's not no Jadeveon Clowney, but it's a good recruit. Number 19, Andrew Booth. Defensive back. Signs with Clemson. Clemson does need some help on that secondary because Jake Bentley lit him up for 500 yards. If they play like that against Tua's throwing for 1,000 yards in one game, I wouldn't be surprised. But they do need some help, so good sign. 20, offensive tackle Evan Neal signs with Alabama. Roll Tide. That's really good for Alabama because Jonah Williams is leaving and another offensive tackle or offensive guard is leaving. So they do need a very good offensive lineman to fill in roles for them. Number 21, the second best wide receiver in the nation, signs with Oklahoma. Lord, they're just making it easier for Oklahoma, playing a no defense conference. You can plug any quarterback in there, and now you give them good receivers year in, year out. This year they're gonna have two of the top ones, the two best wide receivers in the nation. And they've had Marquise Brown, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, I made a highlight video on him. Link in the description. But Marquise Brown, CeeDee Lamb, D.D. Westbrook. I mean, they have good options for the quarterback every year, making it easier for the quarterback. Number 22, an offensive lineman, I do believe, Clay Webb signs with Georgia. I'm going to make this quick. Again, good signing. Georgia needs some pressure. Number 23, the first QB we see here, not a strong QB class, Spencer Rattler. What kind of name is that? But he signs with Oklahoma because, again, I've been saying this, Lincoln Riley, his recruiting pitch is almost, you can't say no to what he says when he recruits his pitch. They got him. 24, Trayvon Walker, offensive tackle, signs to Georgia. That's really good. Protect Jake Fromm, make him look a little better than he actually is. Yeah, that's a big recruitment for Georgia. And they really need some help. And to round out the top 25, linebacker Brandon Smith signs with Penn State. Penn State needs this because they're going to be one of the top contenders in the Big Ten this year with Urban Meyer leaving, Michigan State being a roller coaster, and Michigan always losing at the end of the year. So, it's big for them, and they do need some defensive help because they let Michigan score 42. And a few other recruits I'd like to mention. Number 2 quarterback in the nation, Bo Nix, went to Auburn. He's probably going to start day 1 because Jarrett Stidham is leaving. He can't help Gus Malzahn, though. He can't help Auburn as a whole. What am I saying? Auburn is unhelpable. But anyways, he signs with Auburn. And, what else was I going to mention? Defensive back. Battle, I believe. He's the brother of the other Battle at LSU, signs with Alabama. Again, Alabama needs defensive back help. And the biggest recruit of the whole entire class, Will Richard. I believe I pronounced his name correctly. The GOAT. The greatest of all time. The number 1 kicker in the nation signs with La freaking Bama. And it's a Christmas miracle. Because finally, we have a kicker. Roll darn tide. We've never had a good kicker. I mean, look at this year. This guy, Joseph Bulovis, or our backup. I forgot his name already. Andrew something. Both of them can't kick for their lives. Last year we had Andy, Papa John's, Papanosis. I don't know can't pronounce his last name. Andy Papa John's. But anyways, he couldn't kick really. I mean, you set him up on basically a chip shot field goal. You run, do a quarterback sneak so you can get it in the middle, right where he needs it. Chip shot. He hooks it all the way to the left. I think someone told him kick to Timbuktu, not to the uprights. And we don't mention that one year. You know what year I'm talking about. We don't mention 2013. Last Saturday in November. Chris Davis. We don't mention that, but yeah. Alabama hasn't had a good kicker in a long time. But we get the GOAT, Will Richard, Roll Tide. And as I round out this video, thanks for watching. I'm probably going to do a part 2 to this video. When the other recruiting day happens. This year they did early signing day, which is going to be the thumbnail for this video. And we can look forward to the other recruiting day. We can look forward to the best receiver, Jason Hazelwood, signing. The best athlete, listed as an athlete, Rim McCoy, sign. We can see Ishmael Sopsher sign, number 9th. We can see number 10th, OT, and we can see Hill sign next time, and that's all gonna be in part 2 of this. But please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we got the best kicker in the nation. Let's go